Recap here going for us. So we set out and found that our while we were dealing with the sea gods, our home area was raided by a group, the Dui Claudia and or Diu Claudia, and they have massacred a village and taken the feet as trophies. And so we later ran into a party of them, and we annihilated them. As I said to Tony, I think we should let the last 3 or 4 run away, but he said no, and I think we hung the last 3 on the beach. We have sort of a mission. It's a vague mission, but we have 5 virtues in order to truly establish ourselves as the dominant power in this area. And I will post those in the chat right now. So we have to exemplify virtues of lawmaker, mercantile, protect the innocent, reverence, and wise beyond our years. Mike asked me offline whether or not those were like a group ignoble, or whether or not I had planned exactly the event that will be reverent. I do not have planned the exact event for any of these, although I do have enough events in the campaign that I believe you'll be able to demonstrate all of them. And yes, they probably should be demonstrated by our new Lord and Master Etok. My character was low level, so he picked up the quest. No, that's whoever is gonna be the Duke of the area, or if we're gonna go all the way to Kingdom in the area, that will have to be decided probably by trial by combat, I would assume. Right? Only the last survivor. I immediately abdicate and say that I will not go for that position. If you go over to the Caucus region map really quick, you can see the situation that we're in now. We traveled from Tumut Arakan, tough word, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that the way it should be, but that'll be the way we pronounce it. Tumut Arakan. We traveled from there to Cherson. You can see the little green dot I put on Cherson to represent the fact that we cleared that as an obstacle. The governor there does not oppose us establishing either a dukedom or our own kingdom in the area. We headed toward Kiev and realized that Kiev is too far away. We just need to remember it's there as a reference point. And I drew Rostov on the map, which is a new territory / city-state that we're building. And we know that Tumut Arakan has plague and that Tiflis has plague. But we also got word that somewhere in the New Ruins, there was a wand of healing. Now that is a pretty generic term for what we're looking for. There is some device in there that can help us with the plague. Maybe it caused the plague in the first place. Maybe it can temporarily reverse the plague if it's put in the town center. Maybe it can wave like a wand and remove plague. That's all yet to be determined. So if we go back to the New Ruins, we entered through this essentially bar at the top. And from there, we went to the west and we found a gentleman. See if I got his name someplace. Should. Blucher. And Blucher was essentially at one time an enforcer in this place, because there's a new religion that's trying to form there. And we ran into Blucher, and he was actually a modifier that was positive to us. He was so bad a fighter that he was easier to kill, so hence we killed him. But by doing so, we picked up enemies in the Patrician class and the Royal Mint of Constantinople, and those two enemies will make our chance of forming a dukedom in this area a little bit more difficult. As I said, Rusty solved the problem in Rostov, and the 300 Ossetia and the Vizier Ulf, who is also Ossetia, have been migrating over to Rostov with our help. And we made a friend of Lord Anthony in Cherson. And we're looking for the wand in the New Ruins. We have no idea what exactly it looks like. And we made the new enemies. So,
and if I'm about to put this in the chat. Is this guy, the madman Knox, still following us around?
Well, there's this gentleman that we met outside,
Yep.
And he one time he was the front man of the temple, but something inside caused him to lose all of his. He's gone insane. We don't know how badly he's gone insane, except for the fact that he's been following along behind us, and we thought he actually died and took a wound as we were, I'll just say, storming the stairwell or storming the gate. But it turns out he was fine, and he came back to life on us. So maybe he's an apparition, maybe he's a real person. I got Mike's character in the bottom corner here. We're rotating around decision-making. We'll start with Rusty, of course. Rusty, you can go back to the blue bar, the hallway at the top, and continue east. Or you may go east from this room or east from the fortress that we stormed, which was that big door. Everyone up to speed? Any questions?
I would say if we thought this guy was dead and he's returned to life, then he must have the healing wand we seek, and we should just kill him and take the wounds now, and then... You ask him and you search him and you realize that the let's just say that the loincloth-clad berserker guy is not magical in any way. You have a power to do that, right, Mike? What do you use to determine that this guy is not really the source of magic healing? I could probably sense that with my demigod. I'm sure the cosmic would do it. Maybe the spirit guide would give me some guidance.
How about spirit guide? Give me a roll of at your level. You're level 8, correct?
Yeah.
Give me a roll of a 3.
6.
A 6 is successful, and Mike has determined that this guy is not magical. If we wanted to double check that, somebody else could try a roll. I'll give Conrad. What level are you playing?
5.
And Fred, what level are you playing?
I'm 0.
Okay, Fred is playing a brand new character, so we're going to give Fred a second chance to verify that, and he can hopefully pick up an ignoble from it. So Fred, either pick any magical ignoble that you can apply to this situation, or any of the mount, blade, or personal swaggering that you can apply to this situation, and roll me a roll of 7. And first, what are you looking for?
Let me think which one.
Mike, for instance, used Spirit Guide, which is our wizardry, to verify that the man is not the source of healing.
I'll use...
We're all necromancers. You might as well join the Corps if you want to use necromancer
Cosmic.
to see if he's
Magic.
dead.
See if he used magic.
Yes, wizardry. And what specific aspect of the wizardry? Which swaggering of those wizardry
Cosmic.
techniques? Once more for me, I was talking over you. Forgive me.
Cosmic. See if he
Cosmic,
used any
sure.
magic.
Give me a roll of 7 to pick up Cosmic. You can find out the timeline is not busted.
Got it.
Easy peasy.
I have that locked.
Now, Fred as well says that maybe there is some connection that the guy came back to life because we're in the vicinity of the wand, but that's not 100% sure, and that's also leaning toward a negative. I think it was just a matter of the fact that we thought he
wasn't a major tarot. It was a major tarot card that brought him back.
It was, yes, it was an event that happened during combat. Yeah, you can by the sheer mechanics of the game, we know that it was not the underworld that brought him back. It was more like a lucky event that happened as we were fighting. But let's move on. I was Rusty.
I don't remember that lucky event ever happening to us, but
well, we've had lucky events happen to Laura.
Random.
You know, she had the Shield of Einherjar, but she
random.
She gave it up.
So I'm going to go.
Got some luck when he lost that foot. I'm
going to go up to the door
now.
And then go east.
Okay, go ahead and move yourself there.
Let's see. Move myself there, huh? Let's see. There I am.
So
grab. I was going to say, just go ahead and grab Mike's figure. Well,
can I grab Mike's figure? Oh yeah, I can. Okay. Sorry.
The other guy is.
That's our gentleman who is a free wound.
Okay, that's our. Okay.
We are moving without the fear of death, unless it specifically says that this one cannot be used by.
Then that could happen randomly. So random.
Right.
That's the random bad.
It's less likely that it would happen randomly, but it could. That is actually dormitory number 4. Dormitory number 4 has Hudson in it. Let me see what Hudson is. We enter a room and it goes right into combat because Hudson is another enforcer. He probably was waiting for us to move away from that direction, and finally he got his desire. So
We have Enforcer Hudson. He resides in the 4th antechamber. And a defensive modifier -1. And because we have some high-level guys, I'm going to add another 8 minions with him. So we have 8 lackey, and then we also have Hudson. And it's a defensive modifier -1. And I will start with Conrad. Did you want to calculated, brash, magical?
I do not have very many magical swaggering techniques, so I believe I should go brash.
You probably should go brash. And here comes your card. 2 of rods.
Let's see here. Click. Brash, 2 of rods, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then is it Bane, you say?
It is a Bane, yes.
Perceiving the battle is going poorly, you notice something which gives you pause. Perhaps you fixate with doubt that will linger for some time. Fail in lingering quest pit penalty for the remainder of the adventure. Difficulty of 11. Advantage skill Delver. I am not a Delver. That's a gifted skill. So I'm looking for the 11. We don't have any ads. Is that correct?
It's a -1 defensive modifier.
But no, there's no party ads, etc.
There's no quest pip, no tactical pip, no fury pip.
Okay, so I'm looking for the 11. Good luck, gentlemen, or we all get a -1. There's the 11, but it's a miss because it's -1.
It's
aren't you level 5 and roll twice?
The quest pip does not go negative. What happens would be if we would lose our quest pip if we had one. So that was sort of a roll that was not going to add a whole lot to the situation.
Inconsequential. Should I roll again just because I am in fact level 5?
Sure, why not?
Second time I've succeeded.
The second time you succeeded, which is all that would take anyway, not to have any lingering penalty on that.
And of course, I do not gain the Delver skill because that is a skill, not a...
That is correct. And since we have also played this game now for close to a year, if you guys want to, and you see a situation where it doesn't matter if you make the roll or miss the roll, we could probably flare in a swaggering for that, and you'll get a chance just to pick something up. For in this case, related to Delver. In fact, we won't even cheat Conrad at the moment. Related to Delver to me would be ferocity. Do you have J, personal, Conrad?
Personal J, I do not have ferocity.
Okay, give me a roll of a 12 to pick it up.
And I missed.
Okay, but you rolled twice.
But I rolled twice, yes, in fact. It's going to be new to me. And I failed twice.
And you failed twice, so you had your opportunity, but it did not come true. I go on to Laura. Laura, what would you like to do?
So close.
Brash, magical, or a calculated action to kill lackeys?
Magical.
6 of rods.
Not a Bane.
Not a Bane, no.
Call on all that's unholy and perform a death spell. Success and dispatch one opponent. Player, if the adversary is enchanted, player must change his method next round. Regardless, enemy is now enraged. Adds to the defensive modifier and deadliness. Difficulty 12, advantage, wizardry power words.
Two former Houston police officers went to jail as heroes. They indicted in criminal by a federal grand jury on deadly rain. Here's Miguel Elder.
Okay.
Do you have the power words, Laura?
She does.
I do, yes.
3 dice for a 13.
3 dice or 12 to pick it up at 13. And you roll more than once, and you did.
1 second.
The enemy is not enchanted. Success and dispatch. But unfortunately, that dispatch is going to be taken off the lackeys.
Even more unfortunately, the enemy is now enraged.
The enemy's enraged. It's going to be a defensive modifier -2. And I go on to Mike.
I will take a magical card this round.
How about an Empress?
How about an Empress inverted? Ignore the effects of Major Tarot going forward until the deck reshuffles. Inverted, also ignore any result which forces an increase to the tally of a player's warped outcome.
Okay, so we cannot increase to a warped outcome for Mike, I should say. And we do not take Major Tarot anymore. And Mike, your actual card is going to be Magician, which we ignore. And 4 of Swords, Bane.
Oh, all of that work to get a Bane. Okay. Sea shanties and tavern tales hinted at the dangers of unchecked magic, while we were killing sea gods. The warning comes racing back as I told you so. Fail in group suffers a Quest pit penalty, which we're not doing at this point. Adversary is not foul, correct?
Adversary is not foul. That is correct.
But enemy is now double enraged.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I think there may be a penalty on enraged and enraged, but don't worry about it.
Okay. Skill Mariner. I am a.
Now the fail will not matter because we don't have a quest pip. So why don't you flare in any swaggering related to Mariner?
For being a mariner.
For instance, something off the longboat, perhaps. Did you want to pick up religiously inspired on our longboat?
I'll do that. I was going to try and get precognition on the grounds of reading the wind and the waves and the stars, but, you know.
Your choice, Mike.
Yeah, I'll be the greedy one and go for my own swaggering technique.
Okay.
So, difficulty 9 minus 2 is an 11. On 3 dice, roll 3 times.
On just the 2 dice, if you're actually going to pick up the swaggering.
Okay. 9, 6, no go.
Okay, 9, 6, and 9 is a miss.
Yeah.
But there's no negative effect to the party. Do I have Greg here as well? No Greg in the chat, I believe, and no Greg. Yeah. I don't see Greg Morrison, and so we're going to go on Fred. Fred, what would you like to do, sir?
Like greedy one, Mike. You mean all of us, right?
Let's go brash.
Okay, how about if I give you a 5 of coins Bane?
Okay, so post that up in here.
Sure. It's in the chat.
Capitalize on your victim's apprehension and call for him to surrender to the superior arms. You've perhaps misread his drooling mania as abject fear. Success in all players must select irregular as method in next round attacks, but perhaps you gain swaggering. Fail and knocked unconscious. Flare if the adversary is heinous.
He is not.
Okay. Injury results in a vicious wound. Difficulty 6. Advantage mount talking. Nope, I have radiant. Okay. So this is 2 dice.
2 dice for an 8 to pick it up, and if you pick it up, we're going to have to all take irregular for a round.
So I'm wounded. Oh no, I used them a bold.
No, you just knocked unconscious, Fred, which is not a bad place. And we go on to Tony. What would you like to do? And none of us have to select irregular.
I'm going to use Impetus Blade and try to kill a whole bunch here.
Okay.
So it's N. I have 1, 2, 3. I have the all 4 others. Or is vermin free one of the longboat techniques that we took off the?
It is vermin free is one that we brought with us. You do not actually count the wizardry one for this, but
right. Yep, that's okay. I don't have the wizardry one, so I have 1, 2. What's it? 1, 2, 3 others. Right. So impetus plus 3. Then I also have 15 blade techniques, which then puts me at an additional. Where's the bonus on that? 14 is a plus 4, so I'm plus 4, so that is a plus 7. They are enraged, which is down to minus 2, and they are a minus 1 because of defensive modifier.
No, it's the enrage doubling the defensive modifier from -1, -2.
Oh,
so you're at 7 minus 2 is plus 5, I believe, right?
Yes, 5 plus 5.
Okay.
So here we go.
Rolling 3 times.
Yes, indeed. A 10 plus 5, well, that'll be a 15. That's enough.
There's a full 8. Why don't you give us the full 8, sir?
All right. Ah, shit, 2. All right.
2's better than none. Better than being unconscious.
I think a 2 down is tremendous. You're rolling a D8 for your rapid burst, and you rolled a 2.
Yep. All right. Well,
okay, I'm gonna basically take. I could mess our longboat up, which would probably be more my style. There are a lot of longboat techniques, and I could do the same thing as Tony. Let me see if I have a lot of N's. I actually have a lot of R's. And what does R give me on that? R, I can defeat a half D8. All right, why don't we try R? I've got a total of 3, and the ship has got, we did not bring the Inhuman Watchdogs. That's too bad. And so that's 3 for me, which basically will cancel the defensive modifier and add 1. And I have a total of, since I'm using R on the boat, I'm going to be plus 3 there. So I have a plus 4. 2 dice plus 4 to kill minions. And 2 dice plus 4, that's a 10. Plus 4 is a 14. If 13 or better, I'm going to kill a half D8. And I roll a half D8. I've taken 3. I think I added all those together, but let me recalculate again. I've got a total of 3 plus 3 is 6 minus 2 is 4. 14, Conrad.
Okay, sorry, I missed the 6.
No, that's good. And I killed a total of 3, which gives us 2 lackeys yet before we enter into subcommander fight. And I go on to Rusty. What would you like to do?
Let's see. So I'm going to do is repartee as for calculated? Because can I get them to basically surrender the 2 lackeys? Does repartee work for run away?
Repartee is run away.
Okay. Well,
if you do a 12 or looks like if you do a 12 or better, you can get half a D8 opponents to run away.
Okay. Well, I have 18 personal.
Okay.
So that's plus 4.
It's going to be plus 4.
And then I have Paladin Glorious. Let's see, Talking Glorious, and then we have a Longboat technique. That's P also, I believe.
Very good. So give me 3 there, if you would, and plus another 4 is a 7. Minus 2 is 5. So 2 dice plus 5, please. And rolling multiple times.
That's it.
11. That's
no need to roll even further on that. If you roll me there's 2 left, Rusty. Roll me a 4 die. Roll me a half D8. And just enough is just enough. All right, I go to Conrad. Conrad's going to take a card.
That was a D4. I got 4. Oh. I overkilled.
You overkilled.
I overran them away.
You frightened them so much that my character started to run with them until I realized that was not our team. I'm going to go to Conrad, but Conrad, you're going to take an action on that special Q&D that we have, defeat the subcommander. Now, in order to work this table, you actually have to render him vulnerable first and then slay him outright. You cannot get the slay result until you get the vulnerable. And there are banes on this table, so I'm sure you'll be happy to know that. And have you put this in our tool yet, Mike? Queen?
Yeah, this is in the tool. It's in the Skidbladner tab.
Go ahead and hit me. Give me a queen for Conrad to read out for us.
No bane?
I know.
There you go.
Double bane. My card out flipper still says 5 of coins, but a defeat subcommander.
Yeah, what happened? Mine says Queen of Cups.
Mine says 5 of coins as well, but it's pink.
I got 5 of coins too.
Yeah, let me.
It says connection is closed, so we must have got logged out or something.
Yeah, I went out and I'm good again.
Okay, good. Let me try that as well. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, harass and exhaust the foe. Success for catbird seat. If this roll is being, and with that bonus, a success will also award a tactics pip. Difficulty 11 advantage. Any swaggering type. C as in Charlie. Again, I think there's a word missing there, but I kind of get the gist anyway. So I'm looking for an 11 minus 2 because he's enraged, which makes it 13, and I can use any swaggering type C. I have Mount Agile checked at Glorious, so I'm rolling 3 dice to pick up, or 3 dice to
tactics pip.
Get the tactics pip, or I can roll 2 dice to get the 13, and I can pick up charismatic style. I would assume, right? Let me roll 3, and that is a success.
I think what happened there is we have a little bit of a mishmash. If this roll is being,
you know what I think it is? I think it's
made with a bonus. I think is what
that bonus. So if he's already got the catbird, then he picks up a tactics.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. The and is it should have been listed as a made. So harass and exhaust. If this roll is being made with the bonus, a successful award of craft. So you have picked up the catbird seat there, Conrad, which is good. Here's my test of the card flipper for everyone. 9 of cups.
That's a 9 of cups.
See that?
All right. So, Laura, you get yourself a 9 of cups.
Buffett him into defense, success, and subcommander is slain. He does not suffer this result until he's vulnerable. If he's not already vulnerable, fail unshaken.
And he's not vulnerable yet.
Difficulty 13, range 3, swagger type 28.
Heroic swordplay, scintillating resolute, and pyrotechnics.
I do have pyrotechnics and I have heroic
I don't.
-2, right?
-2 defensive modifier. That's correct.
All right, I'll go with the. I'll use my heroic swordblade and. Get on a second.
Yes.
Nice high roll.
So you're not shaken, but he doesn't suffer the roll until you actually have a make him vulnerable. Mike, I think your experiment with your mic has probably gotten a little bit weaker from my standpoint.
No, the external mic didn't work, so I've gone back to the interior.
Got it. Okay, and you sound fine on that one there. You probably just went off mic for a second. All right, I'm going over to Mike now. Mike, how about a 3 of cups for you?
How about a 3? And it's not a bane because I'm
No, it's just a 3.
Grapple. Success and commander is now vulnerable. In a future event, he may already be slain. If he's already vulnerable, which he's not, fail and lose that condition. Difficulty 11. Advantage any swagger type T. Are we in the underworld?
Yeah, remember we count these.
Yeah, we're in the ruins.
So I can't use my mount.
No, your mount can apply in this one.
Actually,
I just used mine, so.
Yeah, but I've got wrestling holds and cosmic. I'll just do this with I'll do this with cosmic because it would be out of character for this guy to go for wrestling holds. So I need a 13 on 3 dice, roll 3 times.
To make him vulnerable.
Make him vulnerable. We'll just get that out of the way with a 20.
Okay, so the guy is vulnerable right now, and I go over to Fred. Fred, I'm here.
And
Fred's unconscious, I think.
Yeah.
Fred was unconscious. Fred, I'll give you the option after this round, not this round, but the next one, to come back in battle or continue where you are. What were you saying, Mike?
I was about to say, this is a very good battle to be ignoring those major tarots on, because I believe the major tarots have a lot of, if you're fighting blank, then somebody gets wounded cards.
That is true. And how about a knave, a card for Tony? We're going to give Tony the Bane. No, it's not Bane, it's just a knave.
This is defeat subcommander knave, right? Okay.
Yes, it actually
him and break his spirit. Success and subcommander is slain. He does not suffer this result until he is vulnerable. If not already vulnerable, fail and suffer vicious wound. Difficulty 12, advantage any swaggering type H. Well, let's see here.
Well, luckily he is vulnerable.
Yep.
I will use my lithe blade.
Okay.
And chop him down.
14.
3 dice. There you go. First time.
All right, so the gentleman, the enforcer, goes down, and I got to cross him off. We have just taken out Hudson, who was a loyalist of the temple that we're invading, and that is it, guys. In the sense that I go on to Conrad to make a decision.
Level 0 would check.
Level 0 would check anything he wishes from that battle.
Including battle or heroic.
Correct.
That didn't sound dangerous for level 5.
No, probably not dangerous enough, but cumulatively, as we get several of these commanders taken out, I think we could probably give ourselves a pat on the back and collectively an ignoble for it. Hudson is down. Hudson was resided in the 4th antechamber. You can go south from here, Conrad, or you can go back through the door, around to the blue hallway, and head east from there.
I will expand off of Rusty's actions and go south.
South it is. Let's see if I can make this box bigger. And we go from one antechamber to another antechamber. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The 5th antechamber, Ayers. Let's see what Ayers has to say. You enter the area, and there's a guy that's sort of dismembering corpses and putting them back together in different shapes and laughing as he does it.
We got another corpse for him if he wants it.
Oh, I think he's probably had some of his corpse servants are pulling some of the bodies that fell in the last battle of both sides and pulling them back in here. He doesn't immediately seem distressed by your presence. Now, a lot of guys like this, Necromancer heirs, they take refuge in these temples because the leaders of the temples can use somebody magically inclined, and they need a place that's out of scrutiny of
of the general public. That does not make him automatically your enemy. He could be a possible recruit. Certainly, we have a number of necromancers in the party, so we can't be offended by his activities. But we would have to convince him to join us, or convince him not to thwart what we're doing. He may have some information on what we're looking for as well. So how do you want to play this, Laura? We're going to start with you because I'm shifting over to you next.
He's fusing bodies back together, Red. Is he restoring them to life, or is it just
by necromancy? You can recognize that if you have necromancy, or probably have that with any of your many magic swaggering would be able to determine that. The main point is he's not immediately opposed to us.
Right.
Laura, let's find the magic wand, or get him to that he will not interfere.
You're cutting out a bit, but I was thinking that maybe we should talk to him about the wand. Ask him if he knows.
Okay, and what swaggering or skill, or what do you apply to get an opportunity roll for that? If you just walk up to and talk to him, he's probably going to ignore it. If you try to rabble-rouse him, if you try to courtly graces, that sort of thing. You could threaten him with a blade technique, whether you have it or not.
I'll try courtly graces. I think that one sounds pretty perfect for it.
Okay, and your level is 7. Give me a roll of 4 on 2 dice, please. And you can tell with almost perfect veracity that he says that he mostly sticks to himself. He hasn't heard of any sort of healing ability around here. He points to a lot of corpses on the ground and said that some of these are, probably inflicted one way or another. If there is some sort of healing device in here, it certainly doesn't have an aura effect. It probably would have to be activated. He did say that he thought the former headmaster, the guy that was driven out. Let me see if he can say what his name is. He says that it's a gentleman. He was a scholar. He was a wizardly scholar by the name of Angell. And if you could find him, he'll either know where it is, or tell you that it's not here. Now, you still haven't really convinced him that he should stay neutral, because he's got a pretty good gig here. The guy who's in charge of this place, the sad Prophet Borden, is basically a guy that has left him alone. So, why should he do away with a good thing?
He goes with us. He gets all kinds of bodies.
Mike, are you going to make that deal with him that he can practice necromancy in Rostov? We tend to tinge the city a little bit, but maybe we want to have a magical, neutral and live and let live attitude. The people.
Does anybody on our team have necromancy locked?
I do not. I have a pyrotechnics lock, but.
Sorry, what you were asking if anyone had necromancy as glorious, Fred?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll make that offer. I'm the guy. I'm a necromancer who, worships.
Does anyone in the group step in and say, no, that's not a good idea, Mike? We're trying to grow a population and grow our, it doesn't really. When it comes to virtues, that's not one of the ones I would think would be.
No, it'd be better to set him up someplace else.
To protect the innocent, I think it's a little bit violated.
Where there's people we want animated that we don't like.
Okay, no. I think you guys are all viewing this wrong. So a necromancer is actually serving the people by taking the dead, animating corpses, and having them do the jobs, all of the bad jobs they don't have to. Then, all the menial stuff. Then people can focus on learning and growing their spirit.
Plus, you can communicate with the dead. So he's got his uses.
I thought I would never see a day when a Viking was afraid of death.
There's a lot of elements of necromancy that, if you think about it, actually come into play. If somebody has a dog that dies and they want to bring the dog back, that's a simplistic one, but it's true. If someone loses a child, they may want to say goodbye before the child is fully entombed.
And dead eyes is probably a negative,
but the majority of the necromancers, this guy included, are trying to beat death by understanding it more. And that's more of they're aspiring with they're conspiring with demons, and they're aspiring to become a god themselves. Having the person around in our entourage and retinue is probably not a bad thing. Allowing him to freely practice in Rostov, that would probably be a negative. That's just my opinion as a referee and as a player. Oh, and if we actually needed a religion, I suggest this one. I'll type it in the chat, and then you can stare at it for a little while.
I've been trying to point out, we don't necessarily have to offer him a place to live in Rostov. If he follows us around, we adventure all over the place, kill all sorts of things. He can practice on bodies of all different races, and
yeah, he said that he's got to have a laboratory. Are you suggesting that you're going to carry all his gear around for him? That'd be pretty cool.
Got to get us some sort of longboat swaggering technique for what's the longboat swaggering technique?
On the longboat.
Well, I mean,
our crew has dealt with us. They probably don't care, in many ways. So that's, this would be more of my suggestion. If we have to start a religion, it would be dedicated to craft, and it would be metals, and it would be the plow, the knife, and the coin. And we try to control craft through making the better plow, making the sharpened knife, and then and making our own coins. But hey, what can I say? I check growth for that, but that'll be my goal, regardless. Anyone else have a suggestion or what we should do with this guy? We can always put him in a knife.
We'll leave him here.
If we leave him here, there is probably a 50-50 chance we're going to see him in another room fighting us. If we kill him, that's not going to happen. If we convince him that he has a future with us, then we know that's not going to happen.
Okay. Next to him.
It's interesting that if we brought him with us, that's the exact same percentage we would see him in another room fighting us.
Here's what I would offer. We can have him be a teach necromancy in the wizardly university that was being set up by, who was the character?
That is Bruce's character.
Bruce's character at Wizardly University, but to do that he needs to prove his capability by joining us for a while.
So yeah, Sigmund Ninetoes. I'm not sure necromancy was one of the first things he was trying to teach. I believe it was dedicated to illusions, but certainly as a man with 9 toes, the necromancer could say, "I can give you 10 or 11 if you want," but
yeah,
they may ooze a bit.
I'm sure 9 toes would want another professor in something.
I actually really think that's an awesome idea, Rusty.
Okay, let's Rusty, what do you apply as skill or swaggering to make that offer to this gentleman?
I think repartee to basically convince him of that.
Okay, go ahead and give me a roll at your level. That would be a roll of 4.
12.
Okay, let me add him to the group.
I'll be eating sandwich.
And I go over to Laura. Laura made the first decision there on convincing the guy not to fight. We're going to go to Mike. Mike, you can go east from this room or east by backtracking.
The new ruins. Let's go... Sorry, you said I can go... let's go east down this corridor. Is this the right guy to move? Yeah, I'll move that one.
Yeah, you can move any of them and I'll sort of adjust them, but... And still your turn, Mike.
We'll go all the way down to the end of that corridor.
Okay. And we have found antechamber number, what did we say, 6. Antechamber number 6, Flanagan. Let me see what this guy does. All right, we're immediately attacked by, probably in this setting, it would be
a large gelatinous monster attacks us, and Flanagan is a defensive modifier of -2. So let's say it's a defensive modifier of -2. You have Flanagan and his cube, and the cube we're going to say is horrible.
That means it's a lime cube that has fruit inside.
And defensive modifier, we said -2. Okay, we do not want to have that guy double and become enraged. I go to Fred. You're going to start us all off. Did you want to attack the horrible lime cube, or did you want to try to defeat Flanagan?
I'm going to use pyrotechnics on Flanagan.
Could we by chance call it use or enchanted, and because that's I think the level of heroics I need.
Well, Flanagan would probably at a -2 would be, and with the monster would be the equivalent of a chanted if you want to check the ignoble Conrad.
Okay, fair enough.
And Fred, if you use pyrotechnics on this guy, we're going to use it like recitation magic. So you're going to essentially be rolling on the table. It starts on 147.
You need a 13 or higher to dispatch one opponent of any size.
Are you a level 0?
Yeah.
I don't think you want to use recitation. I think you want to just say magic. Do a magic and see what the cards do.
Attack, and we'll see what rolls up.
Okay, here we go with a magical attack. How about if I give you the Justice card?
Be a chance to get another swag ring too.
Is it? I did. Because I'm still seeing the Knave of Rods.
Yeah, it does. It's not working again.
Something happened again, huh? Yep, it's stuck.
Let me see if I just don't get out of your programs, guys. Let me just cross out of mine and see if I reboot mine, I get everyone back. And if that doesn't work, we'll all go through it again. Internet not working tonight.
Yeah, I can see everybody except I can't see you, Red. I can see Tony, Rusty, Mike.
Okay, I'm rebooting.
And then you just joined in again. It was the tower.
Okay, you see a tower, yeah.
And suddenly I don't see it on my slave.
Then we're seeing the King of Wands.
Probably what's happening is I'm having web problems here for whatever reason. I'll blame the cold, but
the background is green when you're connected. I don't know if that helps you.
Yeah, no, they have been green before, which is and that's a 7 of rods, which will probably start us off. So the Justice card.
Hopefully it was not inverted.
No, it was not. A selecting player may not utilize his character's combat trait bonuses for the remainder of this battle. And I then flip the 7 of rods for you, Fred. Go ahead and take it. Defensive modifier -2.
Okay. Magical. Okay. Witness combat in a slow time frame. Did you speed up? Success to dispatch one opponent. Difficulty 14. Advantage, wizardry, recognition, which I do not have. So
for 16.
Your old double ace, you get it.
That's a rough roll. Let's see it.
Oh, almost.
That was a good roll.
But no negative, so.
No negative. Unfortunately, didn't dispatch the monster cube. We go on to Tony. What would you like to do?
Is this just just like regular brash type actions?
If you wish, against the cube, it's Q and D against the subcommander or otherwise.
Oh. Well, I'll flip one on the subcommander then.
Okay. How about if we give you a 6 Bane on the subcommander?
Oh, geez.
See what happens when you get cocky?
Contest yet with a defensive posture. Fail and subcommander is no longer vulnerable. Well, he's not vulnerable already. So if he was not that now, a failed roll inflicts a vicious on another random player character. Oh, Conrad, that's terrible.
Yeah. Hey, no, random.
Regardless of this, if in this action the players face slave master Khrushchev.
We do not.
No. A random character suffers a vicious wound. No. Difficulty 9, advantage any swagger or type R. And it's a 9. Okay, what's the defensive modifier on this?
-2.
-2, so I can roll an 11 on an R, huh?
11 or somebody random suffers another player, not you, suffers a random vicious.
All my R's are already locked to glorious, so I can't even bother doing that. So I'll just use speed and guile.
Speed and guile. Go ahead and give me 3 dice then for an 11 to avoid the wound on a random person.
First time, there you go.
Okay, come over to me, and I'll just take a random brash card to attack the gelatinous cube style thing. 3 of Rod's Bane, brash.
Bane too, right?
Yes.
Surrounded or cornered?
And it's a brash Bane 3, and it says surrounded or cornered. They're cornered by the cube of the melting flesh. There appears to be little hope, little to do but the obvious. And what would that be? Fail in the player's next round, receive Bane results. Flare, if the action occurs in the underworld, it does. No one gains advantage from wizardry, recitation of necromancy. This guy with us is pretty pissed about that. We've canceled his necromancy for the moment.
Who's weak, Kimosabi?
Who's the we?
Who's we?
Difficulty of 8. I point the finger. It's the magic guys in the group. Difficulty of 10. Mount winged. Do I have a winged mount? I do have a winged mount. On a roll of 10, I can lock it as glorious, so I can roll 3 dice and not fail. And all players next round receive the Bane. Let's avoid the Bane for everyone. Here comes 3 dice. Wasted that huge roll. Well, what should I say? It's not wasted because it's we who suffered the Bane otherwise. Rusty, what would you like to do? Random card toward the gelatinous cube or Q&D subcommander in order to kill the main guy?
I think I'll... well, let's see. So, before we lose the ability to use magic, I guess I could use magic. What magic would be make everybody have a plus?
Possibly E, which is what, your precognition? I believe if you look up E, I believe it has a possibility of bonuses.
Starting at 12 or better. 12, you personally gain the catbird seat. At 13, you gain a command pip. At 14, you give everybody a fury pip and negate the defensive modifier.
Okay.
15 or better, tactics pip for everyone.
Let's try magic, and I have 19 of them.
Okay.
With precognition, and so that would be a plus 4?
Yeah.
Plus 4, -2 for the defensive.
And so plus 2, right?
Plus 2. 2 dice plus 2?
Well, on
rolling
big
3
dice.
times. Rolling 2 times, I mean.
12, that's a 14.
That gives everybody a fury?
Okay,
a 12 and a 14, Mike.
Catbird. With a 12, Rusty can give himself the catbird. With a 14, he can give everybody... Here, I'll post it in the chat.
I'll give everybody...
You want the 14. Look at that.
Yeah. Everybody gains a fury pip, right? Yeah.
Now, Mike, your recitation is just a little bit behind on the time, so how about if I list the 2 of the results?
Okay.
On a 12, he gains the command pip. On a 14, you gain the tactics pip. Those are only 2.
An enemy no longer gains defensive modifiers or becomes enraged.
Well, apparently
that would be on a roll of a 13. If you check your game manual on page 146, you can verify that. Probably something happened between beta and the end. We're going to...
So 14 is worse than 13?
No, the 14 is a tactics pip, which gives everyone a +1 modifier. That's a good one.
Well, isn't the 13 gets rid of the enemy's modifier, though, right?
It does.
Well, it doesn't say gets rid of. It says no longer gains defensive modifiers or becomes enraged. So it wouldn't necessarily get rid of the defensive modifier. Which
right, but in this
that's just semantics.
Battle.
In terms of the amount of dice roll bonus, yes, but double tactics pip is a death to the enemy, so that's the ultimate thing you can get out of this.
Okay, well, I either way, I have to pick a 14 or a 12, right?
Correct.
So I'm going to pick a 14.
Right, so we have +1 tactics now in this battle. And I go over to Conrad with +1 tactics. What would you like to do? Is there a gelatinous cube or the Q&D?
I would love to use magic, but I literally have only one swaggering skill in magic, so I think I should stick with brash.
Okay, here comes your brash card.
I am.
Queen of Swords.
It's Queen of Swords.
Great card.
And it's not even inverted, so I'm confused. In fact, I am confused by the shadows or chaotic situation. The adversaries suddenly look huge and menacing and overpowering. Realize so are you. Success and one opponent surrenders, but fail roll, and the player must select escape going forward. Against a large plus adversary, the difficulty increases by 3. If this action takes place on the water, it does not. A failed roll also results in loss of longboat democracy. S as in Sam. Difficulty 10.
Bold.
Trade advantage bold.
You have large plus adversaries, so that's going to be a total of 13, and the -2 defensive modifier is going to give us a 15. With the tactics, it's a 14.
14 on 3 dice because I am in fact bold.
14 on 3 dice.
That's a miss, and the second attempt, because I am level 5, is a 17. That is a success.
Now,
gelatinous cube.
The gelatinous cube is horrible, and I believe horrible. Do they do not surrender? Is that correct? Do we know that for sure? I'll have to look that up.
I think so.
I think it's horrible, do not surrender, and invincible, do not run away. So your guy actually then drops to the equivalent of nasty is what happens. He takes a slight hit in his ferocity from what you did, but he's still in the battle. I go on to Laura. What would you like to do?
Yeah, I still call it. I drew a card, so it's a success to me.
And it wasn't a bane.
And it wasn't a bane.
Once more, Laura, for us. Magic. How if I gave you King of Rods, Bane?
An enemy would-be wizard has mumbled and suffered his own mishap. Rush forward to secure his limp form before he recovers his wits. Success in one opponent surrenders, but fail and knocked unconscious. Ooh. If this action takes place on the water, which it doesn't, difficulty 8, advantage trait energetic.
So 9.
With the defensive modifier tactics pip, it's on a 9. Are you trait energetic, Laura?
Yes, I am.
3 dice for a 9, and yes, now that the gelatinous crew is only nasty, you will effectively dispel it or quell it by this action. And we have eliminated the gelatinous cube.
Well, I am sad that the gelatinous cube has been dispatched because I thought I was going to be funny and I was going to take a card on the defeat subcommander table on the grounds of our necromancer who's following us around could reanimate the dead body parts of the cube and use it to tear it apart from the inside, which you can't do because you can't use necromancy. So,
wow, that's incredibly convoluted for a creature that's amorphous. Here you go, Mike. Let's give you a card on Q&D subcommander. The subcommander is not vulnerable yet, so a 7 of swords. It's a bane.
Explain the futility of defiance. Fail, and all characters lose trait energetic, strategic benefits of fury, or command pip. So, fail and nobody can activate their energetic in this battle, right?
Correct.
If this event is failed twice by the party, a random character suffers a vicious wound, regardless if in this action we do not face inhuman agent
Haqel. That is correct.
Haqel. Random character suffers a vicious wound. Difficulty 12, advantage any swagger type P. So I'm just trying to avoid a penalty here. P. I'll just go ahead and use my glorious talking mount.
For 3 dice for a 14.
For 3 dice for a 14, roll 3 times. 13, right?
13 with the tactics pip. Thank you, Mike.
There we go.
And he has made it, so we do not suffer a penalty. I'm over to Fred. Fred, here comes your card on Q&D subcommander. And I got a 10 of swords, but it is a bane. We're actually past that point, Fred. Oh. You're on a separate Q&D as if you're in jump and die. Oh. Michael posted for you because he's mean at heart.
Fail and subcommander is no longer vulnerable. If he was not that, now a failed roll forces loss of swaggering. Regardless if in this action the player faced Twisted Offspring Blucher,
who's already dead.
Random character suffers a vicious wound. Difficulty 10. Advantage any swaggering type. Let me see what I got on the list here.
Any eye.
Veins.
Or you can pick any eye, and on a 12, you'll pick it up.
11. Tactics bit.
So that'd
Correct.
be 2 dice to pick it up, right?
That is correct.
Or I could roll 3 dice. Because we're at a 10, is that correct?
3 dice, yes. No, well, you're at 11 because
11.
of the defensive modifier and
I'm
tactics.
going to risk the veins. Yeah, it's a good thing I did that.
And which swaggering did you apply to that of eye?
Veins.
Feigns, absolutely. Okay. And you're not actually risking the feigns, Fred. You only risk the feigns if you try to lock it as glorious by rolling 2 dice. By just trying it in the battle and taking a 3-die advantage, it's still with you.
Oh, I thought
I'm going to go.
regardless.
I'm going to go to Tony, and Tony, I'm going to give you a roll of a knave bane.
A roll of a knave? Great.
Yeah, a roll of a knave bane. So.
Tony gets the best card in the deck.
Is he not a what's it called? He's not. And it's inverted too. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Panic on defense. Fail and subcommander is no longer vulnerable. I don't think he was vulnerable. If he is not that now, a failed roll inflicts a vicious. Regardless, if in this action the players face duplicitous Lord Dalton, we don't, do we?
No, we don't.
A random character suffers a vicious wound. Difficulty 9. Any swagger O. O is Master Shield. I will use my Amalgam Blade.
And 3 dice for 10 to avoid the vicious wound.
3 dice for 10.
In essence, we have 2 soak-offs, though.
There you go.
And you avoided the vicious wound. He comes over to me, Q&D, looking to get that guy vulnerable. And I've got a 5 of Cups. That's not going to do it. It's a Bane. The 5 of Cups Bane says, traps and curses, wards and malignancy. So much unknown fighting in this domain. Fail and all characters lose the rugged strategic advantage of ignoring a wound. If this event is failed twice by the party, a random character suffers a vicious wound. Regardless, if in this action the players face duped Lord Bacon, a random character suffers a vicious wound. We do not. Trait rugged. Is my guy rugged? He is. 3 dice for a 13, or we will not use our rugged trait for the rest of this underworld. And I have made it.
Good job, Red.
You know, I can only make the first couple of rolls of the night, so we're still young. Here you go, Rusty. How about a 4?
It's not a Bane. You gave all the Banes away. What the heck?
You did. Go ahead, Rusty, and be a hero.
Okay, surround, get behind him for backstab success, and subcommander is now vulnerable. In a future event, he may be slain. If already vulnerable, fail and lose swagger. Difficulty 10, advantage any swagger S. Oh, let's see.
Oh, you have power words.
I have power words, certainly, and I have uncontested dagger thrust. So let's see. I'm looking for a 10, which would be 11. And I'm not going to bother to try and lock anything.
You have the tactics pip as well.
Yeah. So I'm going to roll 3 dice using my uncontested dagger.
3 dice for an 11. And you have made it, so he is now vulnerable. I go on to Conrad on a vulnerable Flanagan, and we flipped ourselves a Knight Bane.
And this is the defeat subcommander, I would assume.
This is a Q&D defeat a subcommander, correct?
Right. Keep him from drawing or relieving his favorite. Or retrieving his favorite blade. Fail and the subcommander is no longer vulnerable. If he was not that now, a failed result a failed roll results in shaken. Regardless if this action in this action the player face Enforcer Hudson, a random character suffers a vicious wound. This is not Hudson, I assume.
No, it is not.
So it's a 9.
10.
9 plus 2 minus 1, right?
Yes.
So it's a 10. And I have disarming blows.
So 3 dice for a 10 in order to
not make him. Yeah, to keep him vulnerable.
To keep him vulnerable. So I want to do this. Or I could choose it I could choose another one and try to lock that.
He's trying to grab the knife that Rusty stuck in him and use it against us.
You can either try to lock one you have as glorious, or you may try to pick up one by rolling a 10 on 2 dice.
I'm gonna try to. Well, I don't want to foul it. So let me go ahead and roll 3 dice looking for the. Actually, no. Let me roll the two dice looking for the 10. So I'm gonna try to pick up.
Okay.
Blade.
Radiant?
Defender, right.
Very good. And we could have another round trying to make him vulnerable, but, who cares?
If I miss the roll, so I'm rolling twice.
Yeah.
Need 2 rolls to get the 11, I believe was the number I was
It's a 10, Conrad.
You got
12 is bigger
It
than
is.
10.
You picked up the swaggering, and the guy remains vulnerable. We come over to Laura. And Laura, your card will be the Hanged Man.
Inverted.
And I don't think any of these invert. I didn't have the time to make them. After the battle, each character without wounds loses 1 swaggering technique. Only those longbow traits in the party may be used, with the highest level characters having priority to inflict that loss. So after we fail this battle, we're all going to lose 1 swaggering technique. I go on to... and Laura, that is your action in the battle for these tables. Mike, you got yourself a 7 of cups.
But it's not inverted.
It is not.
Strike now. Success and subcommander is slain. He doesn't know he's already vulnerable. Difficulty 10. Advantage any swagger type G. I will... See, I'm looking for an 11 on... I'll use my knightly blade. 3 dice, looking for an 11. Roll 3 times.
If you wanted to game this, Mike, you could gain any G swaggering or lock any G swaggering on a roll of 11, rolling 3 times, 2 dice.
Yeah, but I already rolled my dice.
Okay, then you have successfully slain Flanagan.
And you're right, Red. I should have done that and gamed the system, because I could have gained a swaggering technique and then immediately lost it rather than lose something I've already got.
Correct, or also it did not have a negative effect since the man was already vulnerable. But just live and learn, and we're gonna be on this table through 3 other ruins plus half of this one which remains. So I wouldn't worry about that. You guys will become pros of it by the end. I'm gonna go on to the fact that we have who was the next person in line? Mike took his last actions.
Forethought.
Yes, Fred, you may check anything pretty much you want. I'm going to go ahead and on my character for level 3, I'm going to check battle for that.
Do we have to now remove a swaggering technique?
We do. Yeah. We have to pick one and remove it that we have to remove. But first, let's go to longbow techniques. And we have 4 longbow techniques. Does anyone want to take off longbow technique rather than their own? Starting with the highest level character.
Do we have loss of swaggering option for our? Is that in this version of the?
We do. We have 4 clevers left, Conrad.
Yeah. So can we use those? Can we use 4 clevers instead and wave off 4 loss?
Let's take Mike. Let's take the 4 that Mike and Tony. That's our 2 level 8s. You do not lose anything. Now, Laura is a level 7, you do not lose anything, and Rusty is a level 7, you do not lose anything. So that means Fred and myself and Conrad will grab off things like vermin free and orderly kept, unless we want to lose one and sacrifice for the group.
I have clever as well, so whoever's the next in the line.
Conrad, technically you weren't here last week when we counted clevers.
Okay, so not included. Fair enough.
That is correct. So
take one off the boat for me, I assume, right?
I will take off battle ready right now. And Fred, did you want to lose one yourself or take it from the boat?
Yeah, I don't have very many to lose, so.
There you go. We take vermin free, and then I take camaraderie P. And that's how occasionally we lose things in the game.
Vermin free is pretty useful. Can we take something like noble allegiance instead?
Well, the only thing else we had would have been orderly kept.
Okay.
I want to keep vermin free. I'd rather give up orderly kept, truthfully.
Street bonuses reset at the beginning of each session, so Conrad should be able to use his clever.
It's clever is applied as
Good
a
point
group.
of order, Laura.
Yeah, Clever is applied as a group at the start of the mission. So after we get through this underworld and we reset the mission, then I'll let us all have our Clevers again, and also we get our Methodicals again to add, probably 6 or 7 longbow techniques.
I was not as clever as I thought it was, Laura.
Yeah, this is sort of like a penalty to Conrad for missing last week. Sadly, if work takes priority, that's fine. But it's
a random person. You need to refer to me by my name, random person.
Except for the penalty to Conrad is a penalty to all of us.
It's a random
Conrad's
person.
punishing us all.
Well, that would be 2 weeks in a row then, I guess.
I guess I'm
the lack of
later.
his and the fact that you guys did not show great enthusiasm for my suggestion that we Glittner and Craft, I'm gonna have to referee. My feelings can be hurt as well. Thank you, Laura. It's
I was pushing the coins and knives too. Okay.
I like that suggestion, Glittner. He's the one powerful guy we've run in who didn't try to kill us. We liked him. He didn't try.
I go back to the new ruins.
I'm sorry, Laura. You didn't try to kill us yet.
We still have two assistants traveling behind us as soak-offs. I don't think we're going to die here, but whether or not we get nickel and dimed. I will tell you, if we ever have this happen again, although it's going to be very rare that we're going to get another hangman happen in this adventure, we can kill a guy instead. The only option is to go north from here. I go on to Fred, or you can go on to double back around.
Gotta go straight up, is what
you
you're
can
saying?
go straight up, or you can double back around to that hallway that was at the very top, the starting
Let's go
hallway.
ahead and see what's up here in the
Okay.
street corner.
And it looks like a very, very dark cell.
Ruh-roh.
Is there anything in there?
Let's see what prisoners in there.
The unlit cell. It will hold a neutral inhabitant of the complex who's being imprisoned. He can actually give you enough information or reward to free him that you can pick up abundant stores, or if we already have it, he can give us he can give us treasure laden. So we picked up treasure laden if we release him. I assume we're going to release him, so I'll mark that for the moment. And then who did we find in the unlit cell? Let me go down to the new ruins. And I believe I know who was in the
Does he follow the new religion of Glittner?
Well, it could be part of the new religion of Glittner, the charity of releasing people, but I don't remember that as part of the rites. If he's not carrying a knife on him, it seems like he's anathema to the new religion.
Yeah, and why would he have a knife in prison, of course?
Well, I mean, that's his fault, not the religion's fault. So
it's protecting the innocent. That sure does seem like protecting the innocent.
In a minor capacity, releasing this guy would be protecting this is sad. Wait a second, that's not that guy. Let me get to the right guy. This is actually the wizardly scholar Angel, who we were told to go find. So the Necromancer is there with us, so Necromancer can talk to the guy as well. I will go over to Tony, since I'm moving around the table with the decision making. What are you going to do to talk to the wizardly scholar who's thanking you for releasing him from the chains and allowing him to use magic again by taking off the magical bonds from him? And
well, it just seems like a bad idea, but okay.
Take it from me. Then you could say as your first act you put the magical bond back on him to keep him.
No. I'd rather see what bad thing's going to happen. It'll be much more amusing that way.
Sure.
Chancellor.
Well, we want to know. I want to ask him if he knows how to cure plagues.
He probably has an array of wizardry swaggering just like you, and he says that he would be on a case-by-case basis. But he does say that he does carry Haqel Scepter, and he says that Haqel Scepter, it's one of the 4 Egyptian artifacts that have been known to be lost in this area, the Caucus region, and it may have magical powers for healing. plague. It's certainly, he has said that he is it has cured infertility in certain people. So he has never used it to cure plague, but he would graciously take him and his scepter to any place and try to cure the plague if you help him rid this temple of its evil elements and return it to what it was supposed to be, another place of study for the magical arts, and not what it turned into, which was a savage cult that feasts on the dead.
Well, it seems like we're kind of doing that already, so yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so we're going to basically bring him along as well. We're getting a whole party here behind us.
The more the merrier.
So he's unhappy with the changes to the underworld, right?
He's unhappy to the changes to his temple, yes.
Yeah.
The temple is in the underworld, right?
Yeah, the temple is this whole complex, Fred.
But we want to make sure that he will attempt to cure the disease in both cities.
Both cities. He says if you got transport, he's agreeable to that.
We got Cosmic on Glorious. We can get him anywhere.
Or you got a boat.
Or we have a boat.
We got a boat. Or winged
So it's up to me. We switch around. We go to Rusty. Rusty, you got directions north, which would connect up to that other hallway that you had. Or you can go to the east.
Right. So for clearing out this dungeon, who do we have to
You
defeat?
have to kill the boss. You have to kill the boss, and you have to kill all the sub-bosses that are loyal to him.
And so I'm going to ask our friend, the curing guy that we just released, if we go to the west, is there a boss there? Have you heard anything while you're in your cell?
Let's do this then, if this guy is going to be a little bit more helpful. And
okay.
I'll put on. Let me grab some.
So there was nothing
here.
to the west. Okay, got it.
Let me draw items, and we love these, don't we?
I kind of fear this room of skulls. The two rooms of skulls.
Yeah, we probably don't want to go north if there isn't a sub-boss there.
I'm not too necessarily worried about the rooms with skulls. It's been all these antechamber hallways where we've been fighting subcommanders.
Let me find out which numbers here we're going to have to worry about. So we have killed Flanagan, and we killed Blucher, and we have
There's Lord somebody. We didn't kill him yet. Some name up here.
We have Hemingway that we need to get in the second subchamber. I just made that one small. And we have defeated Hudson, but we did not get Lord Dalton in this chamber as well. Okay? So we're getting closer. And this guy does not need to be defeated, and this person actually does not need to be defeated either.
Looks like we got to go through there.
We got to go through his room, though.
You do. You got to go through his room, and it may result in combat, but he doesn't necessarily need to be defeated if you wanted to flee from him. I'm going to move you into that space right there, and then I'm going to bring up the fact that this is actually the head of the cult here, but he says he no longer controls it. And he is neutral about the whole thing. He sympathizes with Angell and says that this is Lord Borden.
All right.
He's called the Sad Prophet, and he's currently being milked of his blood.
Oh, we'll stop that.
Okay, and he says that he lost control of the cult to Flanagan a little while back, but Flanagan has basically been killed now, hasn't he? Yeah, you killed Flanagan.
We killed Flanagan.
He had an accident.
His undead body is falling along, is what you're saying.
Could he take charge of the cult again?
He could possibly take charge of the cult again, but I think the Wizard Angell wants to take charge of the cult again, the guy you got with him. You're allowed to ransack the room, but if you ransack the room, it's in essence ransacking the cult, and you're going to have to fight the guy. So do you want the swaggering technique for Longboat or not? Is it worth it to fight an extra fight to get like elite goals? I say no.
Tough question.
Because we're going to get probably at least 7 more swaggering as soon as we finish this mission.
Yeah.
Why were they milking this guy?
They're milking him because the cult has turned into like a cult of blood.
Okay, so it's nothing special of his blood.
Well, he's the cult leader, and his blood obviously would be the best blood
I want to ask him a question.
Strange rules of the cult. Go ahead, Fred.
All right, we've already promised Angel that we would make him the next leader. Are you willing to serve under Angel?
Yes. And he seems rather sincere about that. He doesn't like the fact that he loses a pint of blood every week or every other week.
I guess it's Angel's call, what he would like to do here.
Angel doesn't have any problem with this guy being his subordinate again.
Okay.
As long as he gets out of his room, he says.
Or is he going to stay here in this room?
He could stay in the room if he wants.
Give me a roll of 7 on 2 dice, Fred.
Okay.
You'll pick up Blade E.
9.
Okay, go ahead and pick up Blade E, Eminent.
Okay.
I'm going to move you into the room with the skull, since there's no other way to get there. Unless Rusty wishes to make a nearly impossible roll of Cosmic. That would be, unfortunately, a 14. You have to make roll it, Rusty, to connect this room temporarily to the upper chambers. Is it go to the skull room directly and then go up, or is it connect the two?
Level 7, Rusty. How many make rolls you got?
I've got 6 left. So, yeah, I think we'll just connect it with a cosmic tunnel.
Okay, Rusty uses a make roll, connects it with a cosmic tunnel. We're gonna move our party up to here.
I would think that would be a swaggering of magic.
Well, you already have cosmic magic, right?
I do. I have it glorious. But I mean that would be an ignoble of magic.
I think you've connected. I think you've connected points in space before, especially.
How about prudence?
Level 7.
Half of prudence.
I'll give you half a click of prudence at level 7.
So Brynjar probably got magic for seeing a portal.
Did I take prudence from my actions earlier?
You may, Fred.
Okay,
let's fight this guy here. Now, this is, I believe, this is the worst of the worst of that's in the new run. Let me take a look.
Thanks, Rusty.
Hey, did you want to do the skulls and then the climbing door and get the less guy?
Good prudence, Rusty.
It was good prudence.
Took us to the worst of the worst in one fell swoop.
Don't worry about it, guys.
When you enter into the room, you find the consort of the guy that's convalescing back with his buddy, Angel and the sublord, but the lady unfortunately is a demon, so that we're going to need to defeat at -3.
Thanks.
That's a shame.
On the subcommander table, I presume.
On the subcommander table, definitely on the subcommander table.
Is she a real demon, or is she just, an evil person?
She's heinous, if that's what you mean by real demon.
Less than a god, though. Tony's saying, got this one.
Yeah, well,
less than a god. I'm gonna put her to make it interesting, since we're probably this battle and the night for us, maybe a little bit more, but
it's only 7:55.
I'm going to give her 20 minor flunkies that needed to be defeated as well before we get to her.
What? 20?
My red says this might be the last battle of the night because he just threw 20 flunkies at us.
20 flunkies.
It's take forever.
We got we got one more battle coming up.
That's true, but it's an easier battle than this one, I believe. I could be mistaken about that.
20 flunkies.
Can I capture...
yes, the final battle of the night with the duplicitous Lord Dalton, you can convince him to either go back to his homeland, that he should not be a disciple of this cult, or you can attack him outright and probably defeat him with 5 or 6 card flips with not even getting lucky. But this will be the big battle of night against the demon consort.
Okay,
and
so we have
I've
to
heard
kill
it
the
all.
20 flunkies before we
I've heard
get
it all
on the table
now.
to get the consort,
Vikings afraid
right?
of death and
Correct.
crying like children over 20 flunkies.
You're going to have to defeat the 20 flunkies probably with calculated actions rather than nickel and diming one by one with them. It is Conrad, I believe, as the dice roll is moving to. Conrad, what would you like to do, sir?
I'm sorry, I need to start whining like a child.
You don't need to whine like a child.
Yeah, I
You
certainly
just
don't
either
have
pick
enough.
a brash act or you do a calculated act.
I got to go brash. I just don't have enough. There's not enough in the tank. man.
Not at -3. Is that gonna be thanks?
The longbow techniques would cancel that -3 for what it's worth. You can also, if you're energetic, you can apply your fury now. You don't need that. Plus, if you're, is it methodical?
How does the longbow cancel that?
Well, because the longbow has, it looks like about 12 or 13 swaggering traits. So by
We lost all the longbow earlier.
but it's by the total.
It's even though we're not at the longbow, not on the.
I'm seeing we're currently at 10 is what I'm seeing at.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm seeing.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
All right. So you can use the longboat even though we couldn't take the longboat traits with us.
The ones
confused.
ashore are the only ones you can use. So you'd have to take an action D or an action N. But the total longboat swaggering is the way I would interpret the pluses from that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Got it.
So
All right.
we're going to go over to again. We're back to Conrad. Conrad, if you want to flip a card for brash right here,
Brash.
you certainly can. You're level 5, right?
Yeah, that's correct, brash.
Okay, here you go. 4 swords.
4 swords, not inverted, which is always great. After a short burst of steps, you jump and kick both your feet into the boss daddy's chest. A success, and you gain the fury pip to your rolls. If a skilled armory smithy, difficulty reduces by 2. For that nice pair of greaves. Difficulty 12, advantage skill acrobat, juggler acrobat. We always have trouble finding that. I'm not an armor smithy, and I am not an acrobat. That's under gifted. So unfortunately,
Well, but are you methodical?
I am not methodical.
Okay. Are you energetic gifted? I am energetic fury.
I am energetic.
Okay. Did you want to activate your fury pip for this?
Since this is the big dramatic battle, yes, I will do so.
Okay.
So that's fury is +2, correct?
Correct.
All right. Are you level 5, Conrad?
I am level 5.
Your level 5 energetic. This trait can additionally create a command pip bonus anytime in a single combat.
So I can do both?
Sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So command pip and fury pip, and so the total was a 15. I'm none of those things. So it's +3 -3, right? So it still remains a 12. Rolling twice on a 12 to pick up the double.
The command pip will only come into play if you actually can make the roll with an addition of 1 or 2. So you have essentially a 15 down 2 is a 13. Rolling for acrobat if you're an acrobat.
I am not, and so, but if I get double fury, that's a good thing as well, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the first attempt is a miss. The second attempt at level 5 is a miss.
Yes.
Miss and miss.
No harm, no
ventured,
foul.
nothing gained, and nothing lost with that roll.
Glittner be with
Laura.
us.
So if any of us are methodical level 5, the entire party ignores enemy defensive modifier. Is that true? Or is that a misnomer? So can I activate that now, or can I activate it later?
You
Or
can
do I have to
activate it
wait?
right now.
Okay, I'm going to get rid
Wait,
of
you're saying level 5 which trait?
methodical.
Methodical. I'm reading it right now.
It says
Character
on the-
gain
on the-
catbird seed.
I see. Well, it's in
Character
the
may ignore defensive modifier of enemy once per adventure. Level 5 character may gain catbird seed at the start of one battle.
What happened, I think, Rusty, is the character sheet might have had a misrepresentation of methodical.
All right,
So
that's why I
at level
wanted to
5, you
ask.
may use this trait to gain the catbird seat benefits at the start of the battle. So that's something you could certainly do if you wish.
Okay, but it doesn't have that for the whole party.
No, it only has the fact that you can cancel a defensive modifier for yourself.
Okay. And do you also get the catbird seat in addition?
If you wish it.
In which, well, it's the same methodical, right?
Well, methodical cancels the defensive modifier. Catbird seed is +3 to roll. If you decide I want to activate my methodical trait, you end up with both of those.
Okay.
Okay. We're going over to Laura, though. Laura, did you want to do a calculated or recitation action? Did you want to do magical or brash?
Let's do magical again.
Okay. 6 of coins.
Bane.
6 of coins, Bane.
Always Bane. Would it be anything else? Something sinister delights in what you are doing and thinking, and especially how you rationalize what you have become. Fail and add a half d8 steps towards oblivion on your tally of warped outcomes. Flare, if the adversary is enchanted...
It's not.
Not. Okay. So, regardless, enemy is now enraged, perhaps by hideous design.
Thanks, Laura.
This seems very familiar. Difficulty 9, advantage, skill, tormentor. I don't
Defensive modifier is -5 now.
-5? Oh, man.
Laura, did you want to activate your methodical trait?
Or anything else?
Well, since I'm not a tormentor, perhaps I should. Yeah, let's do that, because that'll give me Catbird seed if I need it.
Okay, so you activate your methodical trait. You're not -5 to your dice roll. It's a 9. Did you want to activate your energetic for the Fury?
Well, cool also gives me Catbird seed if I need it, so that I have the +3.
So are you holding off on the energetic?
Yeah, I'll hold off of that, because all I need is a 6.
You do. All you need is a 6.
2 dice. Oh, I actually made it.
And you have the command pip, right? So you actually needed a 5.
We go on to Mike.
Okay, so I'm going to activate my methodical, which reduces the defensive modifier and gives me the Catbird seat. I want to do a magic J, which is shape-shifting. That could potentially make a lot of the low levels run away. I have 16 swaggering techniques in magic, so that gives me +4 to my dice. That Catbird seat. How does that apply on a calculated action?
It adds 3.
So I'm going to roll 2 dice and add 7. Correct.
And command as well, Mike. So possibly 8.
8 or 9.
Okay.
And you roll.
And I roll 3 times. Well, there.
3 times?
My 3 dice gives me an.
Many,
No,
many,
sorry, I have
many.
2 dice. 2 dice.
Yeah, 2 dice. First, you have what calculated action are you doing, Mike?
Magic J, shapeshifting, trying to get a runaway.
Okay.
So a 10, and I don't even need the command pip for that. That gives me a 16 plus, and a 16 on shapeshifter is on the table. Is a full D8 opponent's runaway. I assume that's correct?
Yes.
So only 2. Such a waste of my rapid scare.
Okay, and I go to Fred.
You were good all the way to the end,
I'm
Mike.
going
You had
to,
great dice all the way to the last
sacrifice
roll.
my energetic,
Okay, you're +2 to the dice with the Fury.
and I guess I'm going to go magic on these guys and see what happens.
I flipped the Magician Bane, and the Magician Bane says we will not do recitation or magical for the rest of the battle.
Oh, no.
And so, Fred, would you like to go brash?
Gaming.
You can go escape. You are level 0. You could get you out of the
level
battle. We
1
do
now.
have 2 soak-offs, though, if you're taking wounds.
I'm gonna go ahead and go brash.
Okay, here comes your brash card. How about an 8 of coins?
But it's not a Bane.
Nope.
Okay. Eureka, the enemy seems susceptible to a common ruse. Success and player ignores card inversion going forward. He no longer suffers Bane results. Oh,
Good card.
regardless, this player gains the Fury Pip. If this action takes place on the water, a failed roll results in loss of longboat treasure laid. Good thing we're not on the water.
Okay, so
Fully
regardless, you got the Fury
complacency,
Pip, Fred, which
difficulty
means
11.
you're gonna kill a half D8 guys regardless. So
Advantage blade heirloom. Do I have? No, I don't have that one. Okay, so an 11, huh?
Or 9.
Nope.
Now, did you use methodical to cancel the defensive modifier of these creatures or not?
I don't have methodical.
Your roll, actually, Fred, is not an 11. It is a 16.
Doesn't matter. He rolled a 5.
Right?
He rolled a 5.
But we lose treasure laden.
You did not. You do not ignore Banes for the rest of the adventure, or should say the rest of the battle. But you did get Fury times 2, so you're going to kill a half D8 of these opponents, Fred. If you want to roll me a D4 or D8.
So that one there. 3.
3. They're down to 15.
15.
Before we engage the demon and Q&D subcommander. I'm coming over to Tony. What would you like to do, sir?
Well, I want to see. Can I actually use the cure that I received in the on the Iron Mantle to capture, that we were going to use to capture a sea god? Use it to capture this essentially a minor demon?
Yes, you may not, because here's the deal on that. It captures djinns, so it has to capture a water, a sand, or I should say a sea, a sand, or a
air,
or wind.
Wind, okay.
Yeah, so air, land, or water, elemental type creatures can be captured with Glintner, because Glintner as a elemental metal can capture any of the 3 elemental. Sea, sail, and sea, sand, and etc. So It is not a demon. It is not a demon bottling thing. This thing is just a supernatural creature that is trying to corrupt the cult and sap the blood away from the other magic users. I go to your action though. What would you like to do,
I'm going to activate my methodical to ignore the defensive modifier. I also I'm at plus level 5, so I'll gain the catbird seed as well. And then I want to do energetic and grant myself the Fury Pip as well.
Very good.
And does everyone have the command bonus yet?
We have a present command bonus. What is command bonus times 2, Mike?
Everyone gets catbird seed.
Okay, so if you activate your methodical also gives the command bonus,
or the energetic one?
No, energetic also gets the command bonus.
And now I'll skip that. Don't worry about it. Everyone's okay with their +2 currently, right? Or the command bonus is a +1 or +2?
It's a +1 or +2 to whoever needs it first.
I see. Okay.
It's about to go away.
It should be noted also that the way that seems to work is that's 2 points. So if one person needs 1 point of the command bonus, the other point is still there.
That is correct, Mike.
Okay. Well, I'll save it into the next time if we need it for the next round of this. The next time it gets back to me. So I'll just use the catbird seat and cancel its defensive modifier. I will use my the impetus blade, and which gives me a +4 along the blade techniques. Plus I have killer instinct, lucid, and we're still vermin free. That's additional +3, so 4, 3. That gives me a +10.
I'm going to have to let some dogs out. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I believe that's a +10 total.
You're on an N +10. Go ahead and roll it.
18. I'm going to kill
a full D8.
Bloody heck, 3.
3's better than 9
left.
True.
Every little bit will do, Tony. That sounds great. Now, it comes over to me, and I will not do a calculated action. I'm going to take a random card. I apologize in advance if it's something that strips us of all our abilities. And before I do that, though, I will activate Methodical, and I will activate Clever as well. So I will be +2 with the Fury, and I will cancel that -5 penalty. And here comes my brash card, Knave of Rods. Could it be any worse for me? 121. Knave of Rods tells me that I am going to protect my mount or wardrobe. That sounds more like me. I'm going to protect my wardrobe from getting any blood on it. And the wicked creatures are merely toying and taunting with me. Fail and I select a regular next round. Regardless, all players must select magical as a method next round. However, we cannot select magic as the next round, so in this case, we do not. If the character has not yet checked the growth ignoble, I did when I proposed a religion, luckily.
Otherwise, I would be vanity. And you would love my character being afraid, noble, and vain. No, I do not pick up vanity from this. But let me see if I have to select a regular next round. I roll Mount Replenishing J. Do I have Mount Replenishing J? I do not. 2 dice.
I like my character in a way I don't recognize.
2 dice looking for a 6, but I also have a command pip, somebody told me, right?
Yep.
Didn't need it.
12.
Didn't need it. Picked up Mount Replenishing to avoid the irregular. I'm over to Rusty. What would you like to do, sir?
I'm back. Let's see. I'm going to do, calculated. Let's see. Let's try. Does repartee work against these? Can they run away?
Mm-hmm, sure.
I'll do repartee. Unfortunately, we lost the longbow boat P, right?
Yes.
So I have paladin. I have talking, so that's +2, and I have 19 personal. I'm going to exercise my methodical, which gives me +2 +4 is +6 +3. So
+9.
So I'm +9.
And you remove their defensive modifier. Is that correct?
I did with the, and so I can do 14 +9 is 23.
Half D8 run away.
I mean, the best result is 12 or better, so you've already gotten the best result you can get.
Okay.
Half a D8, Rusty. Go ahead and roll me a half a D8, please.
4.
Woohoo!
There are 8 left that we need to do of the minions. Then we go into Q&D subcommander. I go over to Conrad. What would you like to do, sir?
Boy, I hate to draw a card and mess somebody up, wouldn't I? Yeah, I'll draw a card. I'll draw a card.
We have a number of pluses. Do you have methodical or not?
I did that last go round, so that's why I picked up the.
Still applies.
So I picked up the Fury Pip, which was +2, and then I had command bonus, which should apply to me, right? Because it was me that started it.
Okay.
Right. So, and then Tony did not give me tactics.
Nobody gave you tactics, and
so I'm +2 for Fury, +1 or 2 for command, and then a -5. So I'm currently at as a minimum -1.
You're not methodical, so you can't outright cancel the demon's defensive modifier.
Correct.
So you got to deal with that. Which card would you like? Brash, I guess,
Brash.
is the only one, correct?
Yep.
Here it goes. How about a chariot?
Chariot inverted is always good, is my recollection.
It's interesting if
we gain a random longboat.
It says your crew of servitors has kept to its assigned task. Gain 1 random longboat. Let's roll a d20 from that. And we already have a lot of them. 19, but 19, which is democracy. Democracy has come to play in our party, though, so it's another one we can roll S on. I go to your actual card, Conrad, and it's High Priestess, not inverted.
That's always
that should
good,
be
too.
Okay.
Gain a random wizardry
swagger.
Whoops.
Here you go, Conrad. How about if you pick up number 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Celestial. G.
Heavenly.
Do you have it at Glorious?
I do not. That's my second wizardry.
Okay, Celestial you pick up then. Very nice. And finally your card. Let's see if it's going to continue. A 5 of Banes for your Brash.
Glittner be praised.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, come on. He's done it. He got me this far.
Yeah, he even tried to use Glittner's pot to catch this thing, so...
Tough as nails, deadly as strychnine, you are that last thrust away. Was only a flesh wound. Fail and suffer a vicious. Glittner be praised. Difficulty 10. Advantage swagger, killer instinct, N as in Nancy. I do not have the killer instinct. This is going to be bad for me, so I am going to do what only an acolyte of Glittner would do, and that is use the make roll.
Okay, so it's probably about a 15, down 2 for the Fury Pip, maybe a couple more for the Command Pip, but regardless, you pick up your swagger and killer instinct, and you avoid the vicious wound. We move on to Laura. Laura, it's either Brash or a calculated action.
I'm going to go back and get the dogs in now.
Okay.
Ooh, let the dogs in.
Oh boy, you're pointing out your age there, Mike.
Every NFL game though plays that song.
Yeah, and Laura, did we lose you for a second, or are we still with you?
No, you guys are just talking over me.
I know we do that too much, but you sound so much clearer today. Thank you, Mike, and thank you, Laura. What would you like to do, Laura?
I was trying to ask, did everyone cancel a defensive modifier? Should I go calculate to try to get some sort of bonus?
You have to go brash or calculated. We've all got
if not, Conrad still has a defensive modifier. I believe you do not have it.
And I believe Fred also has it.
Fred, are you methodical with your character?
No, I went bold.
Okay, so maybe
I went energetic.
Yeah.
I haven't done.
So we don't have the command pip currently.
If you want to do something in the E range, that would be concentration, eminent, serene, or the longboat, vigilant. Unfortunately, we do not have.
Right, I'm mixing up the calculated with Cutlass calculated. I was thinking it could get everyone a bonus, but
you could possibly do that by going E. Let me go to the table and then I can talk you through it. If you go to like 125 on the
she needs, I believe, a 12 or higher. 12 gets her a catbird seat, a 13, 14 gets a command pip, and a 15 or better gives a tactics.
You cannot cancel the defensive modifier outright with this action with calculated. You can do it with recitation, but not with calculated.
Yeah, I should just go brash then. I was thinking I would try to help the party, but it wasn't doing what I was thinking it was going to do, so I'll go brash.
Well, for the last year, it's pretty much been every man for themselves when we get to this point in the game sequence. How about an ace of rods on Bane? Unfortunately.
Well, of course it's a Bane. It's always
That's a long one.
Be excited. All right. Flail at each other before taking a winded break. Follow with a humorous proposal or superstitious deal. Sheathe your blades and let a high card determine who's the better sword chap. Or chap bet? I don't know. Utter waste of time on your part, even among competing men and women. Both sides will obviously cheat. Magic might even be suggested to bind the deal, but that is shunned by all. Make the roll for what it's worth. Fail and your ill fate brings the loss of any of your swaggering techniques. Remember, a glorious, locked technique may not be sacrificed. Take it personally or from your weapon, mount, or magical abilities. It may even be suffered collectively on the group's longboat if present, like we have any left. A character with no techniques is outright slain. Of course, I have some. Against non-human large plus adversaries, the difficulty increases by 3. Flare, if the action occurs in the underworlds, which it is, no one gains advantage or may practice recitation with wizardry paralysis Q.
But we can't do recitation anyway.
Difficulty 6, advantage skilled gambler. I think I have that. Oh, no, I don't. It's under clever. It's not one I've gotten. So I'm not a gambler, but I only need a 6.
Do we have any command pips still active?
I do not think so, Mike. I think that there's a chance we could have one the next time around with Tony if he decides to activate it.
But this is Laura, who can roll a 6 on 2 dice when she has...
Well, she has the Fury as well, I believe. Aren't you energetic, Laura?
I didn't activate the Fury.
Did you want to this time?
It's a 6.
Yeah, I got rid of the defensive modifier. I had catbird seat, but that was only good for the one...
Well, let's lose the swaggering possibly, which means we could probably lose one from the longboat if you don't roll a 6. You're rolling 3 times. 3 times for a 6, or do you make roll it?
I'm only level 7.
You roll twice.
I rolled
Twice then for a 6.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and roll it. There we go.
This is you. You can roll a 6. It's not me.
Yeah,
and Laura's made a roll of 6, so she does not lose any swaggering. And I think we parsed out that we have lost the ability to use paralysis on the demon and his minions. I go to Mike. What would you like to do?
I'm going to go ahead and do a calculated action of J with ferocity to try and force some guys to run away. My methodical has already canceled their defensive modifier. I have Sorry, I'm going to... Well, no, it doesn't matter which way I do it. Yeah, I'm going to use my ferocity. I have 7 personal swaggering techniques, which is +2 to my dice. I also have Herculean and replenishing and shape-shifting. I don't think shape-shifting counts, so that's just another +2.
It does not. So you're only using Herculean, or are you using the mount, or you are actually using ferocity?
I'm using ferocity. And
okay,
then
that's the one you've locked as glorious, correct?
No, I haven't locked any of these as glorious.
Okay, well then it's going to be a +4, 2 dice +4. Do you have the Fury Pip?
I do not have the Fury Pip, and I am not energetic.
Give me 2 dice for a 4, Mike. You're rolling 3 times on J.
Yep. So we'll take a 12 and a 4 is a 16. So, and there's 2 12. So that's 16.
The 16 is going to be a full D8. Opponents run away. There are 8 left, Mike.
Oh, let's roll high. 7.
There is 1 left. I go to Fred. Fred, you want a brash card, sir?
He might be on mute.
Yeah, let's take a brash card.
How about if I give you a 9 Bane of rods?
I'm going to post it up. Okay, let's see. Access the enemy level of exhaustion against your own. To temper your actions or press for an end is key to your survival. Fail and suffer a vicious wound. Difficulty 6. Advantage skills, slave driver. Oh, finally, I've got that advantage.
Didn't sound very excited. Let her be praised.
Hey, fail and suffer a vicious wound. No, he did not suffer a vicious wound. There's 1 guy left, Tony, and you could probably kill him with a card if you don't want to use a calculated action. Then we're going to face the demon itself with Q&D subcommander. What would you like to do?
I'll go safe and kill him with a. Well, I will first activate my energetic to add a command bonus for the entire party.
Very good.
Might be needed.
I thank you for that.
Yep. And then I'm going to give myself the Fury. I'm going to go bold.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I actually have to sacrifice a swaggering for that, don't I?
You do. I can take treasure laden right off the ship now.
Yeah, I'll pass on that.
You don't think we're going to get treasure from this afterward anyway? We're not going to be able to spend?
Yeah, I mean, I already have stuff to spend as is.
Okay, well, go ahead and make your roll.
Okay, let's see here. I'm going to do it safely, like I said, and just do it again. So I'm +7.
On which swaggering technique?
I was doing the what's it called again?
Killer Instinct?
Yes, Killer Instinct again.
Yes.
And so I would kill that's a full die 8.
Dial or
Yeah, no. It's the N.
It's N for Killer Instinct. Yeah, you're going to kill a die 8 with that, Tony. If there's 1 guy left, you kill the die 8.
It's 6 times over.
6 times over. Well,
So
the
you
guy
cut
who's a
off
necromancer
all 4
appreciates
arms,
all
and
the
you
extra
cut off his
function.
limbs and his head.
Yes.
We come over to me with the first card on Q&D, subcommander. A table that we've done pretty well on so far. There is no defensive modifier. That's been canceled. I still have my Fury Pip because it's the same battle. Here comes my card, and it is Justice. That will be my card in the actual event. And Justice says, not Judgment, Justice. After the actions, all characters without wounds learn a new skill.
Woohoo!
Great restrictions apply. Okay, so
all right.
Plus 1 skill. And I go over to Rusty. Rusty, are you back from dogs?
Yes, I am.
Here comes your card. It is a 10, but it is a Bane.
I love Banes.
No, you don't. Not here.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Okay.
Use deceit. Fail, and the subcommander is no longer vulnerable. If he was not that now, a failed roll forces loss of swaggering. Oh, that's not good. Regardless if in this action the player faces twisted offspring, Bluchert, it's not, a random character suffers a vicious wound. Okay, difficulty 10, any swaggering type I. Well, let's see, I have feigns, essential, and illusions. So I will use my illusions. So 3 dice looking for a 10, right? we don't have any command tips or anything?
Nothing.
All right. Made it.
Somebody else, my command tips?
Fail and subcommander is no longer vulnerable. That doesn't matter. In fact, but if he is not already now, you would have lost swaggering. So there you go. So you did not lose swaggering. Now go to Conrad. Here comes your card, sir. How about an Empress?
Inverted.
Ignore the Empresses don't actually matter, but until the deck reshuffles, we're now ignoring Major Tarot in the combat. That's probably pretty good. And here comes Laura's card. Laura is the 3 of Swords. Bane.
Overwhelm and claim the honor of the kill. Sounds about right to me. Fail and all characters lose trait methodical strategic benefit of canceling defensive mod. If this event is failed twice by the party, a random character suffers a vicious wound. Regardless, if in this action the players face Guild Insider Hudson,
you don't.
A random character would have suffered a vicious wound, but we don't. Difficulty 10, advantage, trait energetic. Ooh. Is that the one I got? Oh, good. I have that one. Skipped it.
Yeah, this would be a very good time to actually succeed at that roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you fail at that roll, we're all going to be minus 5 from the enraged demon reappearing.
Yeah, I could probably make that roll, but I'm just going to go ahead and actually use a make roll. Wait, is anyone trying to get battle for this?
I don't care if I get battle for this, no.
I already used it.
Yeah, the make roll's already been used in this battle.
Oh, okay, great. So then I will just go ahead and use make roll and not take a chance.
That is a terrific idea. We go on to Mike. Mike, your card is a Queen Bane.
Oh, so the one that we didn't want because we are fighting that person.
That is correct. Let's read it out, Mike.
Subcommander Bane Queen, prevent his magical restoration. Fail, and Subcommander is no longer vulnerable. Since Subcommander is not vulnerable, failed roll increases Warp's outcome tally, but I believe we had a Major Tarot in play that prevents that?
4 battles ago.
Okay, so that wasn't for the Underworld.
No, that's not for the Underworld.
Regardless, if in this action the players face demi-human consort Hemingway, a random character suffers a vicious wound. Well. So I'm just
it doesn't say an other character, so you also fall in that category. Let's see if you actually make your 9 of a D for any D, Mike.
Sure, 9 swagger type D. I have a fantastic blade, so I will go ahead and use that. Rolling a 9. There we go.
Okay, so you do not suffer the warped outcome. Rusty, you are 1. I am number 7. 8, we reroll, and here's the result. I got a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mike, you have suffered a vicious wound. But Mike, you do not suffer a vicious wound. The result turns out to be that we lose one of our henchmen. I think it's the Necromancer that we lost. I might have deleted the wrong guy.
Use this rugged instead? Is that an option?
Not for this.
Okay. So
if he yes, he would use his rugged if he himself is taking the wound, but not when the guy is a step into the wound and die.
Okay.
Yeah, we probably don't want that Necromancer in our city anyway. The other guy, the Insane Lord, may be a little bit more useful if we can get him some treatment. Maybe
the Necromancer was going to be Bruce's problem.
Right. Yeah.
Glitner be praised.
You would have to.
Glitner be praised.
Glitner be praised.
We could email Bruce and tell him, oh, by the way, Bruce, your College of Illusion now has a new faculty member teaching necromantics, and see if that'll draw him back to our game. We're going to go ahead
works in mysterious ways.
Over to Fred. Yeah, Glitner works in a mysterious way. Fred, you got a Temperance card, but we ignore that going forward until we get a reshuffle. Unfortunately, that passes your event. I go to Tony. Tony, you got a King of Swords, a beautiful card, an excellent card.
And it's not inverted, Tony.
Let's see here.
My gosh, it's not a Bane.
All right. Bark your commands and get organized. Success and toggle the quest bit 1. I assume quest bit's on. Else, upon fail, toggle it off. Difficulty 10, advantage any swaggering type A. Let's see. Well, we'll just go straight with
Now you have canceled the defensive modifier, I believe, correct?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So what we're dealing with though is a 10 and you can pick up any swaggering A. Do we really need a quest pip of +1? It's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
You're rolling 3 dice. You're rolling 2 dice 3 times.
I'm trying to decide which one I want to lock as glorious. I already have Demigod locked as glorious, so let's try to lock my beautiful mount as glorious.
Okay, that would be, then if you fail it, you're going to lose it.
Yep, I have 3 tries.
Go ahead. Roll your 2 dice 3 times.
Ooh, that's bad. Oh, there we go.
And you lock it on the second attempt. Beautiful. And we also then pick up a quest pip for this battle. So we're all +1. That's nice. Yeah, it comes over to me. Round circle. We're going to flip a card for me. Q and D subcommander of the tower. Luckily, we're ignoring things like that. I think the tower is just absolutely
special
ugly.
wounds listed as flares increase in severity to outright slain, so we wanted to avoid that card. The temperance, Fred, that we ignored on yours was we ignore Banes for a round, and then we take a full round of Banes.
Okay, but we're ignoring both of those, which is nice. The odds are with us. In the next underworld we enter, maybe not so. I'm over to Rusty, though. Rusty, here comes your card. Queen of Cups.
No Bane?
No Bane.
Oh my gosh. Defeat Subcommander Queen. Harass and exhaust the foe. Success for a catbird seat. If this roll is being and with that bonus, a success will also award the tactics pip. Difficulty 11, advantage any swagger C. Okay,
it's a roll of a 10 for you, Rusty.
A roll of a 10. Let's see.
You got your Fury pip as well, I guess, right?
And I have my... Yeah, we have a Fury pip, right? So I probably should try and get a lock... let's lock Geomancy as glorious. We'll try and roll this. So...
And that makes it. You just needed an 8, I believe.
Yeah.
So you've locked your Geomancer as glorious, and the success gives you +3 to your dice next round. I go to Conrad. Conrad, I give you a 6. It is not a Bane.
6s are always
sorry, I need 1 second.
I just get it, Mike.
Okay.
Next away. Defeat Subcommander 6, bind and tangle. Try to take him hostage. Success and Subcommander is now vulnerable. In a future event, he may be slain. If already vulnerable, fail and suffer vicious wound. Is he currently vulnerable? Hopefully not.
He is not vulnerable, so this would give us vulnerable. But have you used a make roll this battle yet, or not?
I have used a make roll this battle.
Because you still have the -5 defensive modifier, I believe, right?
I sure do. And Glittner be with me though.
Yes.
I do have the Fury pip, so it's a 18 minus 2 is a 16. So it is not, in fact, impossible. I could possibly make this. But the boat is no longer orderly kept. And we have the quest pip, right? It's actually a 15.
Yes, it's actually a 15. There's no disadvantage for missing either, since it's a success.
And we don't have orderly kept on the boat because we lost that earlier, so I literally have none of them. So I will attempt to use C's sword arm. Actually, no. I'm going to use the sturdy mount, which I don't have. So on the chance that I roll the 15, I would
pick up sturdy mount. Otherwise, it's no roll of any
11,
penalty.
Which is a fail, and then the second attempt, because I am level 5, is so close.
No command pip active. Is that correct? Right?
Not from me.
Okay, let's go around to Laura. Laura, your card is a knave, unfortunately.
Knave Bane.
As usual.
Laura's picking up the Banes today.
As usual. And on defense, fail and subcommander is no longer vulnerable. If he was not that now, a failed roll inflicts vicious. Regardless, if in this action the players face duplicitous Lord Dalton, which we don't, difficulty 9, advantage any swagger type O.
Ooh.
Quite a few. I'll go with my Locked at Glorious Mastery of Shield.
You've lost you've taken the defensive modifier off, Laura, right?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So I don't even need a second roll.
And we move over to Mike's character. Mike, your card is a 7.
A 7? Not a Queen Bane? All right. Explain the futility of defiance. Dude,
I got 7 as...
That's
right
sorry,
now. You're giving yourself the Bane there, Mike. You don't want to do that.
No, I don't, but I was going to enjoy reading that about explaining the futility of defiance, because you don't want to fight the guy who's the party that's killed 3 gods. Strike now is the subcommander. He's not vulnerable, correct?
That is correct.
So, roll to avoid a half D8 increase in warped outcome tally. Difficulty 10, advantage any swagger type G. So I will just go ahead. You know what? I will risk the D8 increase in warped outcome tally, because I'm at a point where I have to resolve something with my warped outcome before it increases anyway. So instead, I'm going to roll 2 dice, and I'm going to try and pick up a G. I'm going to try and pick up crush. No, I'm going to try and lock.
You don't want to win this battle?
Well, he's not vulnerable. I can't kill him.
Can't win with this card.
Yeah, so
even though it says success and subcommander is slain,
he's not already vulnerable.
He's not vulnerable.
He does not. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, he's got to be vulnerable for that to be effective.
That is correct.
It's
a 2-part.
Make him vulnerable first.
All right.
Q&D.
Never mind.
So I'm going to go ahead and try and pick up Crushing Blow by rolling a 9 on 2 dice 3 times, because we've still got that quest pip.
Okay.
And I'll just do that once with a 16.
You didn't have the Fury pip either, correct, Mike?
I don't have a Fury, no.
Got it. Okay, so you have picked up your Crushing Blow, and we move on to Fred. Fred, your card is a Queen.
Oh.
There we go. And we don't want that in.
Someone read it for me, because I'm trying to log back in. I just got kicked out of everything. I don't.
Yep. How about harass and exhaust the foe? Success for the catbird seat. If this roll is made while already with the catbird seat, success and gain a tactics pip. It's a roll of 11 on any swaggering, Fred. You're also suffering, unfortunately, from the -5 from the negative modifier of defensive modifier of the demon. So it's a 16 on 2 dice to pick up any swaggering, or 3 dice. There's no advantage in actually getting this. Well, I guess there is the catbird seat. So 2 dice is a miss for you. But there was no disadvantage in missing. I move on to Tony. Tony, your card is coming your way, a 9.
A 9. Okay.
Hey,
now
what
inverted.
happened to my
Defeats the
character?
Scovener. Buffet him into defense. Success and
Nothing, Fred. You just failed to pick up a swaggering.
No, it's gone.
Is he vulnerable right now? Is the subcommander vulnerable?
No, he's not, Tony.
No, not yet. Okay, well, if not vulnerable, fail and shaken. Difficulty 13, any swaggering of a K. Yeah, 13 on a K, huh? Well, alright. Well, then I'll just use my heroic sword play. 3 dice of a 13. There's the first time. I could have killed him if somebody made him
Let there
vulnerable.
be praised.
Yep.
I could have done that too, Tony. We need to get that vulnerable card up.
Over to me. I'm flipping a card. I got the Hermit card, but luckily we're ignoring Major Tarot. I come over to Rusty. Rusty, I flip a card. 8 of Cups for Rusty.
Not a Bane.
Not
All
a
right.
Bane.
Get fancy and avoid the old standby. Success and subcommander is slain. Again, it's not vulnerable. He does not suffer this result until he is vulnerable. If not already vulnerable, fail and lose a swagger. Difficulty 10, any swagger L. Let's see here. L. I already have Conjuration is Glorious. Let's see. Vulnerable. Let's see. I'm looking for a 10. Let's see. What are our pluses and minuses? We've got a pip, quest pip, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So that's a 9. And
You've taken the defensive mod away, right? So
yes.
Okay, so you're a 9.
Okay. All right.
You're energetic. You have the Fury pip, right, Rusty?
Well, I haven't used the Fury pip. I haven't used energetic. I was thinking of waiting till the next thing, but this is probably the last battle, as Red predicted. So I'll use my Fury pip. So that would make it an 8, right?
So I would make it an 8 with the quest pip is a 7 to pick up any swaggering or lock something as glory.
I'm going to go ahead and let's see. This is a L. What I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and pick up. Let's see, Mount Pure. No, I'll pick up Blade Biting.
Blade Biting on a roll of a 7, rolling twice.
Got it.
That could have been on my end, Fred. I've been, we had some problems with Conrad's flipper that seemed like it was just unstable internet from my house. It probably another unstable internet. You didn't. Do you see your character? I added it back to the character.
Yeah,
bar.
I found it.
Terrific.
I was trying to say something, and it was like hung up, and then it just totally crashed.
We're testing the limits of this program with 9 different computers connected to it. Probably. I'm going to go over to Conrad. Conrad, here comes your card flip. How about a 9 of swords?
9, if I understand, is always good.
It's not bad.
Except he's not vulnerable.
Odd numbered cards typically are better in the tarot.
Success, and subcommander is slain. Except
he does
not suffer this result until he is vulnerable. If he's not already vulnerable, fail and just become shaken. Difficulty 13. I have not waived the defensive modifier, so it's an 18.
18. Down 1 for the quest.
17. I have the Fury Pip, which is 15, makes it 15. And I will use Heroic Sword Play, because I have that as K. Rolling 3 dice, trying to get the 15.
3 dice for 15, or you're going to be shaken, -2.
And I'm rolling twice.
You're rolling twice.
Pretty consistent 13. But I'm shaken, so...
Are you bold?
I am bold.
It will only be for next round's action, and then you will come back. Yep. Laura, unless we get some really terrible results that take away our bold actions. I'm going to go to Laura. And Laura,
thanks for pointing that out.
I know it's my duty to point out how bad things can become. Ace of Cups, like Laura.
Vulnerable.
Glitter frowns on that.
Not a Bane.
That's my first not a Bane tonight.
What?
Just kill him already, please. He's not even the main boss. Success and subcommander becomes vulnerable. If already such, he is slain. The battle is over. Difficulty 9, advantage any swagger. Choice.
Glitter frowns on all Banes, except the ones Rusty gets.
Glitter embraces Rusty Banes.
That's right.
Since it keeps telling me that I get credit for the kill, I'm going to use my charismatic style.
Okay, as any choice.
I see it was me buffeting him then.
It's with your Fury Pip. I'm not sure if you've activated it or not. And the Quest Pip. This roll is a 6, and you're rolling twice. Did you want to try to lock something or get something instead?
I don't.
Any swagger. You can choose any swagger and try and gain it.
Well, I guess I could activate it because I don't have that. It's all the 9 for me.
No, it's a 6 because we got a Quest Pip and.
Somebody else's Fury Pip?
It would only be if you activated your energetic for the Fury Pip. That is correct, Laura.
Okay. Yeah, so you're looking at an 8.
That's an 8.
So pick your favorite swagger, Laura, of all of them.
Oh.
Or just pick one that you have 3 dice with, and then we can make sure we get this guy vulnerable.
Oh, that's no fun. Glitter doesn't like cowards?
No, it's not coward, it's prudence.
Yeah, I figured I'd go for the sure thing. That's why I want to use my charismatic style and, do that.
3 dice, and it is now vulnerable. I go to Mike.
A non-inverted 9 or a queen, but here comes the Wheel of Fortune. No.
How about the Hierophant that we're going to ignore?
Oh.
I go over to Fred. Fred, you got yourself a 4 Bane.
I'm going to go bold to gain, let's just say, sacrifice once per adventure any swaggering, including long, bold, not glorious, to gain Fury Pip for one situation battle. So I definitely need to do that this time. So what do we have on Longboat that I can sacrifice?
Yeah, we have 3 on the longboat you can sacrifice. The treasure laden is the most obvious because there's probably going to be treasure in this room after we defeat the creature.
We'll just take it right back from him.
Yeah, in essence, we're throwing it down on the floor. Before you do that, Fred, were you already energetic or not energetic?
I thought that was just for the 1 round.
No, energetic will last you the whole battle. If you do
So
bold,
I have
with,
that. Right.
yeah,
And then
if you
I'm
do
adding bold.
what that does is it gets you double Fury Pip, which I believe is Catbird, Mike, or not?
Double Fury is choice to kill half a D8 enemies, or one large plus, or grant someone else the Fury Pip.
Ah, so if you wish, you can give Conrad the Fury Pip.
Is that red?
Conrad already has the Fury Pip.
Or well, then you don't need to activate the bold, Fred. We'll keep our treasure, and
Okay.
we'll collect enough that we can
Save it later.
Yeah. So go ahead and let's do the calculation here. Unfortunately, it's +5, which gets you 14. 2 down for the Fury Pip, 1 for the quest is going to be a 12. A 12 to keep us from losing gifted trait.
Okay. What skills are?
Methodical.
Methodical.
Oh, I'm not methodical, of course.
And you're
Can
only
roll a 12. Oh well.
Oh!
Good try.
Okay, so we do not have our gifted trait for the rest of this underworld adventure. I go to Tony. Tony, I flip a card, the Fool. Now, we're not a suffering Major Terrell, but that just skips your turn. Comes over to me.
to Tony.
Comes over to me, and I get a star. And a star, we're not really suffering either. It comes to Rusty, and Rusty, you got yourself a
Glitter
3
is
of
telling
coins.
jokes now.
3 of coins, Rusty.
Oops,
Let's
sorry, I
see.
gave you the Bane. It's not a Bane. Wrong
It's
one.
not the Bane, no.
Wrong one.
I prefer
There you
Bane.
go.
You
That's
keep
much
killing
better.
her.
Okay. Defeat Subcommander 3. Grapple, success, and Subcommander is now vulnerable. Laura already did that. In the future event, he may be slain. All right. If already vulnerable, fail, and he loses that condition. Difficulty 11. Advantage any swagger type T.
Rusty forgot that the demon needs to suckle blood, and so he embraced with grapple and possibly re-energized it. An 11, Rusty. Which T would you like to use?
Let's see. So I've got a command pip, right? I mean, no, we have a quest pip, and I have my energetic, so that's -2, right?
-2 for the Fury and -1 for the quest pip is 3.
Okay, so I'm looking at an 8, right?
You're looking at an 8. That is correct.
Okay. Let's see. So I'm going to go.
Try to roll 3 dice, or you can try to make one of your T's.
Right,
You can pick
and
one.
I think I'll go ahead and make wrestling holes glorious.
Okay.
So
Needs an 8 on 2 rolls. Miss.
Ah.
And
I lose. So he's vulnerable again. He's not
No,
vulnerable.
No, he is
vulnerable.
he is not vulnerable again. He is re-energized. And I go over to Conrad. Conrad,
and
I'm
Rusty
flipping-
loses wrestling holds, correct? Because he was attempting to make it glorious.
That is correct. And
All right.
the world, Conrad, is Major Tarot that we're ignoring. Laura, I go to the Knave of Cups.
So I was shaken, Red. I'm no longer shaken, correct? Because
That is correct.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh! He was vulnerable. Rusty, Laura could have won the battle right here.
Could have.
We don't
but
point fingers.
That keeps happening.
Yes, of course we do. That's the very nature of Glitter, is to point fingers.
Exhaust him and break his spirit again. Success and subcommander is slain. He does not suffer this result until he is vulnerable. If not already invulnerable, fail and suffer vicious. So I've had this one before. Difficulty 12, advantage any swagger type H. So it's a 11.
12.
It's an 11, correct.
11, yeah.
Okay. Right, I have 3 H's.
Good one, Fred.
Necromancy? Or was that a previous?
You can use any one.
Okay.
You guys are corrupting my nice religion of craft. Now we're just sitting around making pots and blaming each other for flaws in them.
We're thanking each other for flaws in them. That's different.
Which H did you want to use, Laura? I take it was one that you have.
Yeah, she's necromancy.
Okay, we're gonna go necromancy. The poor dead necromancer is smiling as you do it. Go ahead, Mike, and here comes your card. How about an Ace of Swords?
Which is not going to help us because he's not vulnerable.
No. Read it.
Please. He's not even the main boss. Success in subcommander becomes vulnerable again. Authority such, he's slain, the battle is already over. Difficulty 9, advantage any swagger of your choice. I would, consider picking up something new, but let's just go ahead and...
Mike, I think with your character and the slight greed you have, you should pick up another magic swaggering you do not have.
Oh, well, then I guess I will go after that there telekinesis. No, precognition.
Okay.
Because, if I had precognition, I would know that this is a bad idea.
Okay, precognition, Mike. Your roll, I think, is only a 7, or is it a... is it a 6?
I don't have Fury, so just an 8.
It's an 8. Okay, give me an 8, and you're rolling 3 times.
There we go.
Okay, so you
and
picked
he's vulnerable.
up... Yes, he's vulnerable now, and you picked up your precognition. You've identified what would make the demon vulnerable. I go over to Fred. Fred, here comes your card.
So
Here's
I
a
guess
2.
that would be a good time to use that bowl and give myself the cat bird.
Does the bold give you a cat bird?
That's what we said earlier.
It would no. I think what we determined is that it gives you a fury that you give to pass off to someone else.
And he already had fury, and he already had it from the earlier. You didn't need it because you already had it.
To gain the catbird is methodical. If at level 5, gain the catbird seat.
Yep.
All right, so I only get a +1.
Here comes your 2 Bane. Go ahead and read it out for us, sir.
You're
+3
total.
Uses magic, doesn't everyone? Fall and increase warped outcome by a half D8. Resolve that outcome regardless if in this action the player's face, charismatic, the frontman, the Scipio, a random character suffers a vicious wound. Difficulty 9, advantage trait clever, which I am. So finally I get to roll 3d8.
Yeah, but you're looking for a huge number, right?
No, only a 9.
No, he doesn't have the modifier.
A 9 plus 5 minus 3 is a total of 11, and Fred has made the 11. So
Good
Fred
job,
does
Fred.
not suffer the warped outcome.
All right, give me non-bane here. Something where we can just finish him off.
Okay, so
Kill
here
the
you
demon.
go. Tony, you got yourself an emperor. We know what happens with that, right?
But it's
And
great,
how about if I get a death card and it skips me again? I think I've been skipped for 2 or 3 times around the table.
Me too.
And here comes Rusty. Rusty gets the force. He's skipped. How about 8 for Conrad? Possibly for the
Conrad,
win.
kill him.
For the win, baby.
Come on, win so we can get our free skill.
Get fancy and avoid the old standby. Success and subcommander is slain. He does not suffer this result until he is vulnerable, which in fact Mike made him so.
Yes.
If not, okay. Difficulty 10, advantage any swagger L as in Larry. Lose my character sheet here. So I am. I lost my sheet here. I'm sorry. It is right here. So L, I have a pure mount that will give me 3 dice.
3 dice for a 9.
So I know. So it's 10 plus 5 because I have not waived the difficulty minus 3.
So you do not have the methodical. So it's a 15 and down 3. Unfortunately, it's going to be a 12 then.
12. So 12 on 3
dice
to lock Purus Glorious, which of course Mike would do, but not a true follower of Glitner as I am. So I'm going to use the pure mount to go ahead.
Glitner will point fingers if you do that. So a 12 on 3 dice, and you're rolling twice.
12. 3 dice. So the first one is in fact a 12.
12, which is all you need is a bare minimum. The
praised.
demon goes down. I'm going to give us vigilant on the longbow.
Thank you for killing the demon, Tony.
Yes, and remember, everybody who was unwounded just got a free skill. Trait restrictions apply.
That means everyone around the table, I don't think we have any wounds around the table, has picked up free skill. You can just look under any of your thing. And I think I should probably pick up courtly graces like our Lord, Lady Moradin.
Does it have to be one you're eligible for, right? So, for example,
It does. It has to be one that you have your trait bonus for, but you just go ahead and add a skill. Now, it is 8:53. and we are going to play Outlands next week. So we will continue from this spot next week in the ruins. We have one more room, but it's probably not going to result in a battle. It's going to result in a trying to get this temple complex active, since we're trying to stabilize our own area, and that probably would count if we are successful getting this temple back up and running. That will definitely be something that, if I can get all the way to the end here, it would probably something that would be appreciated by the locals. It would also show that reverence that we're looking for as virtues. All right, and let me get everyone. Let me stop the tape, so to speak.